Bananas taste objectively better than apples. Everyone who agrees is objectively right, and everyone who disagrees is objectively wrong. That's obviously very close-minded nonsense thinking. This kind of thinking is everywhere though. So what's up with all of those claims? Let's look into it. Is PC objectively the best platform for gaming? Is Sonic objectively better than Mario? Is Mario objectively better than Sonic? Is this beer objectively the best? Is this person's favorite combat objectively the best? Is this person's favorite playstyle objectively the best? Is Dark Souls 2's PvP objectively better? Are over-ear headphones objectively better? Is this objectively the best Mario Maker level? Is this game objectively better than Minecraft? Is this objectively the best Fallout? Is Tears of the Kingdom objectively better than Breath of the Wild? Is Dishonored objectively the best game? Is Half-Life 2 objectively the best game? And so on and so on. There would be thousands of examples more. People do this constantly. So, in order to answer these questions, let's first get the definition of objectivity. What is objectivity? Not influenced by a person's judgment, personal feelings, or opinions. So it's an undeniable, universal truth, independent of tastes or opinions. So there you have it. Now we can answer all of these questions. No, a lot of people prefer being mobile and play with handhelds, Game Boys. No, some people prefer Mario. No, some people prefer Sonic. No, some people like other beers more. No, some people like other combat more. Some prefer platform fighters, and some prefer traditional fighters, for example. No. Some people prefer controllers. I, for instance, grew up playing video games with controllers. So whether it's aiming, mashing, moving around, fighting, anything, I am better with controllers. And this person made a second mistake here. No, some people might prefer other PvPs. No, some people think they are too big, uncomfortable, or look dumb. No, some people might prefer other levels. No, some people prefer Minecraft. No, some people might prefer a different Fallout. No, some people prefer Breath of the Wild. No, some people prefer other games. No, some people prefer other games. Subjective opinions, objective no opinions. So let's talk about a common fallacy, the difference between objectivity and majority. Maybe the reason why so many people misuse the word objectively so much is because they believe it to mean most people. That, however, is wrong. These two words are very different. We already established the meaning of objective, a truth independent from opinions, whereas majority simply means most people. There are many big Super Smash Bros. Melee tournaments, way more than Smash 64 ones. Melee is clearly a way more popular and famous game, but does that make it objectively better? No. Obviously not. Sure, the majority prefers Melee, but some people prefer Smash 64, making this a matter of opinions. And even if, and this is very important, even if absolutely everyone, 100% of humanity agreed on something, which will never happen. Some people find all kinds of messed up things okay. But let's just imagine a fictional scenario in which 100% of all humans agreed on something. Well, then it would still be a collection of opinions that happen to all be the same. It would still be a bundle of subjective opinions. This thing, whatever it is, stealing is bad or whatever, would still be based on opinions. Because who would decide objectivity? You? Then it's your subjective opinion. Humanity? Then it's humanity's subjective opinion. God? Then it's God's subjective opinion. The universe? Then it's the universe's subjective opinion. And if you think about it, what even really is good or bad? These are made up words, concepts, so you can describe how you feel about something. But here's the thing, not everyone feels the same way. What's good for you can be bad for someone else. Good and bad are subjective value perceptions. Subjective value attributions. To quote William Shakespeare, Hamlet, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And it makes sense. Consider anything. To the universe, it has no value. It is neutral. The universe has no brain. But people, they have desires and aversions. People give value. They attribute. Banjo-Tooie and Mario Kart Double Dash are my two favorite games, and I, personally and subjectively, find them amazing. But they somehow might not be for you. And yeah, That's the thing, right? Sometimes we are so very convinced of something that we really want to say objectively better. But let's be smart and show some wisdom here. Even if it seems so clear and obvious to you, what if person A beats up person B? Yeah, the majority might think that's a bad thing. But what about person A? Person A thinks it's a good thing, making this a matter of opinions, and therefore subjective. Now you might think, but what about morality? Isn't morality objective? Well, which morality? In my last semester, I took a philosophy class. Did you know that there are many different theories about what the correct or best morality is? Even morality is subjective. There are multiple different moralities. Aristoteles was a lot about virtues. Kant was a lot about obligation, duties. Consequentialism, utilitarianism, is about the greater good, the best consequences for the biggest amount of people, the net positive, the total positive. Now, which morality do you, with your subjective opinion, believe in? If a mother has to save either her own child or 2 other children from death, what should she do? According to utilitarianism, she should save the other 2 and let her own child die. I think many would say she should save her own. But what if it's her own or 1,000 other children? Where, in your subjective opinion, is the line? In the early 1970s, Peter Singer introduces the drowning child analogy. Imagine you witness a child drowning in a pond. Of course you would save it, right? Unterlassene Hilfeleistung, or neglected support, is, at least in Germany, even a crime that can make you go to prison. Helping in this case is normal and most of us would do it. He argues that people all over the world are in need, hardship, misery, poverty, and we have an obligation to help them, no matter how far we're away from them. And not just a little bit. We have to give them so much of our wealth until we would otherwise be poorer than they are. So what are you doing watching YouTube, you lazy, immoral scoundrel? There are people on the other side of the planet you have to give your wealth to. This approach was criticized, with the so-called moral overdemandingness. Samuel Scheffler speaks of the agent-centered prerogative, according to which agents are sometimes permitted to care more about themselves than only about others all the time. Realism. In philosophy, realists believe that there are objective moral facts and truths. Anti-realists, on the other hand, believe that there are no objective facts and truths. By now you probably know which side I stand on. If there were objective facts and truths, then what and whose are they? Yours? The ones of philosopher A, philosopher B, philosopher C, D, E, F, G. Who's right? Do you see where this is going? Of course, everyone is super convinced of their moral attitude and thinks that they are objectively right. All of this just shows what I established in this video essay. The subjectivity of this world, as it reads in the Elements of Moral Philosophy, 7th edition on California State University, Long Beach. Morality differs in every society and is a convenient term for socially approved habits. Different cultures have different moral codes. Darius, a king of ancient Persia, was intrigued by the variety of cultures he met in his travels. He had found, for example, that the Galatians, who lived in India, ate the bodies of their dead fathers. The Greeks, of course, did not do that. The Greeks practiced cremation and regarded the funeral pyre as the natural and fitting way to dispose of the dead. Darius thought that a sophisticated outlook should appreciate the differences between cultures. One day, to teach this lesson, he summoned some Greeks who happened to be at his court and asked what it would take for them to eat the bodies of their dead fathers. They were shocked, as Darius knew they would be, and replied that no amount of money could persuade them to do such a thing. Then Darius called in some Galatians and, while the Greeks listened, asked them what it would take for them to burn their dead fathers' bodies. The Galatians were horrified and told Darius not to speak of such things. This story, recounted by Herodotus in his history, illustrates a recurring theme in the literature of social science. Different cultures have different moral codes. What is thought right within one group may horrify the members of another group, and vice versa. Should we eat the bodies of the dead or burn them? If you were a Greek, one answer would seem obviously correct. But if you were a Galatian, the other answer would seem equally certain. Do you bow when you greet someone? If you're not from Japan, then probably not, because that would be weird and people would raise eyebrows. In Japan, however, your answer should be yes, because not doing so would be very rude and disrespectful. So if your answer was no just now, then why are you so immoral? Learn some morals. Obviously the culture is just different. Do you burp after eating? No. Is it disgusting? Or is it polite, because it shows that you enjoyed the meal? Cultures are different, which leads to moral values being different. Moral relativism and moral subjectivism. Culture and morality are spatially dependent and temporally dependent, and they change over time. Was slavery always wrong? No. There were times when it was accepted and normal. Aristoteles the philosopher, who talked so much about being virtuous and so on, defended slavery. There are so many different positions and polarizing topics out there, and humans will keep having debates, fights and arguments for as long as they exist. I personally, while I do of course have my positions too, prefer to just cuddle up with my wife. Of course you could constantly have debates, fights and arguments, but there will never be a situation where 100% everyone agrees with you. While I also like to state my opinion sometimes, I think it's important to just accept that there will always be other opinions out there. Just don't always engage. Of course you could always 24/7 seek out dissimilar thinking people, but that would be a never-ending, infinite and unwinnable war. Sometimes it's just better to care less or to surround yourself with like-minded people. That's just more enjoyable. Long story short, as you can see, our world works in very subjective ways. There are many different mindsets. Good and bad are made up words and concepts, so you can describe your own subjective feelings about things and topics. And that's my video for today's Sunday. If you liked it, then there's a like button for you. Tell me what you think in the comments below and consider subscribing. Bye!